One of the first things I did was I made a plan in SketchUp. This is rough. It's going to be pretty much what I'm going to end up with. There's going to be an air compressor on the side and the back. For some reason, every time I tried to print that side view, it came out really tiny on my plan, and I couldn't figure out how to make it full size like these. So if anybody out there knows how to do that, I'd love to hear from you. So then I've got my top. This is what my top's going to look like. My Incra fence is going to attach to it, and also my Craig router plate goes there. And then this is going to be my rough cut list. I'm going to have to join some boards together and things like that to get some of the sizes just based on the thickness of the materials. But that's where we're at with the plans. Well, to make the Outfeed table, we're going to need some stock. I just happen to have a ton of scrap in my shop, and I've found a way to use it. So I've got pieces I've picked up off the trash, excess plywood that I've had left over from projects, and this doesn't even amount to all of it. I might have a problem. I might be a wood hoarder. But today I'm going to try and get a little cure on that and use some of this to build the Outfeed table. Well, you know, I'm all about recycling, and somebody had these countertops free on Craigslist, so it happened to be close to me, so I went and checked and picked them up. There was this big one here, and then this one's like 4 foot by 8 foot pretty much, and then the other two were like 2 foot wide by 8 foot. All this green laminate. Of course, this is just particle board with a laminate on top, but that's fine for me. It stays stable. It's got a slight bow to it, but we'll take that out once we attach it to the bottom of the Outfeed table. So if you see something like this sitting out, it's got some great shop potential. Alright, so one of the things you're going to run into if you're using recycled materials, obviously, is most of it's not going to come in the widths that you need. Luckily, the length is not a problem, but you can add to the length as well. I need them 33 1/4 wide by 33 1/4 tall, and that's just not enough what I have here. So I've got a couple pieces that I'm going to join together, and how I'm going to do it is I'm going to use a biscuit joiner and some biscuits. So we're going to get set up here, and I'll show you how that works. Get your glue in and your biscuits, you just gotta kind of start fitting it all together. Looks like I'm a little out of alignment too. Okay. And then you can use the clamps to kind of bring everything in. There we go. Well, what I've done is I've taken biscuits and joined all these different pieces together to make larger panels. I've got them all glued up. One of the pluses to having a newfangled workbench is I've got two 8-foot clamps right there, so that helps provide some clamping area as well. And I've got these up on risers here, just a couple 2x4s. So once I get all the panels glued and dried, then we can move on to the next steps, which is starting to put it together. Next step, all I did was join the two inner pieces here. This is going to be the drawer cavity. I cut a little spacer block at 21 inches. Did that at the front and the back, and that made sure that I kept a uniform dimension all the way across. Alright, I've got the cabinet portion on its side. This is the section where the air compressor is going to go. And what I'm doing is I'm just using spacers here to make sure that I get the opening correct. This particular spacer just happens to be 19 inches. So and I've got 3 of them here. So as long as you've got your board butted up against the spacers, you're going to get 19-inch inside dimension. So that's a little tip for you. And then the other tip is go ahead and pre-drill for your screw holes all the way in. That way you don't split out the particle board. I've had a few pieces split out because I was a little lazy and I didn't pre-drill them. Well, I've moved ahead a little bit, just kind of messing with the design as I go. Got 3 of my nail guns here that are going to be just under the countertop. Well, here's a close-up of the nail gun section, and this is just going to be a little temporary piece. It's if I need to remove it, but it'll help in case the guns are vibrating or anything from the router, keep them from wanting to fall out. You can put them in either way. I just like having them in where I can grab them, but you can do that and then they probably wouldn't vibrate out. Well, I've got these extra leveling legs here. I've got 4 of them. They're left over from my Craig table. I put locking casters on it, so I've had these for a couple years now and haven't really had anything I wanted to use them on until now. So my idea is I'm going to drill this 5/8 hole in here with the Forstner bit, and then that'll let me put a nut in right here, hammer a nut in, and then I'm going to drill a through hole, 1/2 inch, all the way through this block, and then once I get it to where I want it, I'm going to cut this other end of the block off so I can put another nut in and lock it down once I get an adjustment where I want it. So all I've got here is my Shopsmith set up with the 1/2 inch bit. I got a little backer block here. We're just going to center this up and then drill the hole, basically. I've got my nut here, right here, and we're going to want to press that into this. You can use a vise if you want, but I'm just going to take a wood mallet and hammer it in. You just kind of want to center it as best you can, and then you're going to want to hit it once really good, like that, and kind of start to hit it in there, and then just finish off. And you want a surface underneath, like a table leg or bench leg, where you can really get a good hit and purchase on it. And that's why it's nice to make your own wooden mallets, because you'll tear them up over time. And then that will let you put in through this away, all the way through, and then you can, I'm going to cut this off and have it set. So once you get everything assembled, this is what you're going to end up with. And you can adjust it in or out, and then the top will lock it down. So you can adjust that up or down. And then once you get it done, it doesn't move. So that's my idea for that. I'm going to put in a spacer here because I want it to be able to go all the way to the ground. And the cabinet would be hitting it if I don't have this flush. So we're going to add a spacer. Well, I've got my feet prepared. And I'm just going to kind of just randomly stick one on each end of this side and then one on each end of that side. And then that'll let me level the cabinet, so that everything will work out. And all I'm doing here is I'm just going to put a clamp on just to kind of keep it where I want it, and we should be ready to go. Now the reason I'm doing it on the outside and not on the inside like this, where you think it would support the most weight, is I want drawers in here and I just don't want to lose that drawer space. And this should hold. I mean, it's 2-inch wood, heavy-duty wood screws. We'll see how it does, but I think it'll be alright. And then all I'm doing here is drilling a hole through. And then once you get your hole drilled, I'm just putting in the wood screw. Then once you get one screw in, you're pretty much good to go. Then I just put in 4 in just to help support the weight. And there we go, and then you just kind of, well, that's solid. I don't think that's ever going to go anywhere. Alright, so this is the side with the air compressor, and it's sitting in its home now, so that's good. And then as we come around, you can see the leveling feet. Got our nail gun storage. This compartment here is going to be the router. And then we've got where the drawers are going to go right here. I put a divider in that long area so that I could have some space on the back side. Then I've installed 2 shelf brackets that are going to help support the countertop, and that'll also let the shop vac and the dust collector set right there out of the way. And you can see on the back side we've got more storage there from dividing that compartment. And then I've got the countertop sitting up here. I'm trying to take the bow out of it with a bunch of different machines and weights. So stay tuned for part 2 of this video. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you in the backyard.